Favorite animal?
Favorite animal?
Yeah.
I guess dogs. The first dog we had, he had red hair all over him, and his name was Pepin. And he was so smart. Oh, we used to have an old door back there, and he could open the door, and then we'd holler at him, "Shut the door, Pepin," and he'd go and shut it. Yeah.
Good question.
I mean, we had geese that I didn't like, and chickens, they, pick at you, and pigs were. Oh, I like baby pigs. I love pigs. Yeah.
Our art teacher has a pig.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my old one at Fair Street.
Oh, what?
At Isaiah's school.
Oh. Is it a big one?
It's pretty big.
Oh, we had, Ron used to like to get a hold of one and ride on it. They were so big.
Okay, they each thought of a question to ask you.
All right.
So now it's Isaiah's turn. Do you remember your question?
Yes.
Okay, so ask her.
But it's pretty much the same one that he said.
Oh, then you're going to have to think, because you have to have a different question. So we'll come back to you.
It's kind of the same thing.
Well, what is it?
It was going to be, did you grow up with any pets?
I can't hear him.
Did you grow up with any pets?
Yes, we did. When my family moved into a house, there was a dog across the street that had puppies, and my brother wanted a puppy so bad, and my mom and dad said, no. And one morning my dad says, I heard barking down in the basement. And he said, I'm going to see what it is. And sure enough, my brother had taken a puppy and put it down the basement. And we had him for about 10 years.
And what was his name?
Jigs.
Jiggs the puppy.
Jigs. He loves my dad.
And it was black and white, right, Mom?
Oh, it had all sorts of spotty colors on it.
Yeah.
Good question.
What's next?
What is your favorite type of jam to make, and how do you make it?
Jam? I've made so many different kinds of jam. They're all a pain in the neck to make.
Pain in the neck to make.
A lot of work.
But what's your favorite kind?
I think grape is a one. But I had to go out and pick the grapes from all over the country here. Go in the ditches and get grapes.
Say, Mom. Kathleen has news for you.
We've got 2 plum trees at the new house. They've got all kinds of plums on them.
Don't tell me about it. I just killed one.
But that's Ty's favorite jam,
Yeah.
Mom.
Well, I'll make it. It's good.
Well,
It's good.
maybe Ty needs to come over and learn how to make it from Grandma, so then he can make his own.
Yeah. It's not too bad. Not too bad.
Okay.
Well, that was a good question.
You have to make up your mind if you want jelly or you want jam. If you want jam, you gotta leave the skin on, and if you want jelly, you gotta take the skins off.
So is jam usually thicker?
Pardon?
Is jam thicker?
Yeah. I think you had plum when I first came.
Yeah, I've had plum
Yeah.
jelly.
They had plum jelly.
Yeah, you had plum jelly.
Okay, Nolan.
What was your favorite thing to do with your friends when you were growing up?
Well, it depends on how.
Like when you were all our age.
How old are you?
9?
9. Well, we had a lot of kids in the neighborhood my age, and we had an empty field just one house away from us, great big empty field, and in the summer we used to play in the field, make houses in the weeds in the summer. In the winter we could It was a tiny hill, but we still could slide down and go in the middle of the street, but there was no traffic. That's about it.
And when she was a teenage girl, she told me she liked to go to her friend's house and listen to records. So, see, Grandma liked to listen to music just like you guys. And they would practice dancing in her friend's
Oh, we
bedroom.
do our nails and we do our hair and we just have fun all night.
So what kind of records? Who do you know? Do you remember who?
Nice music that had words in it.
Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, Frank Sinatra.
Yeah,
Glenn Miller. Glenn Miller was my favorite. Oh, he was a good band leader. Oh, he had a good band.
in Grandma's day, they would have a lot of music, you guys. It was just band music. Not like school band, but like jazz band kind of music. But no singers. But they had lots of music, and that's what people would dance to.
Well, they
But
had
not everything had
Frank
words.
Sinatra. was-
Yes, yes, they did.
But everybody was slow dancing. They weren't doing this.
No head
What was
banging,
that?
Mom?
They were slow dancing. They weren't doing all this, she said.
No, you had a nice boyfriend and he put his arm around you and whirled you around the dance floor. Fun. And Grandpa Roger loved to dance. Loved to dance.
And Corey's got his dance moves.
Yeah.
Corey has his dance moves.
Oh, really?
Oh, he loves to dance.
Fun. Okay, Ty, what's your question?
When you moved here, like what buildings were in Sunrise?
Well, there was the man next door in that little house.
Well, like businesses, I should
Oh.
say.
Damn.
Ship manufacturing, that was it.
The
Never
bank.
was any other business, but years ago there was.
That was a
You know.
bar.
Oh yeah, the bar was there when we first.
The bank. You
Oh,
guys
yes,
used to
the
go
bar
down
was-
there and dance, didn't you? Didn't you go down there and dance at the
Yes,
bank?
we did. That little tiny bar, we danced on Saturday night. All the neighbors would go. It was just friends. Nobody ever got drunk or had fights or anything. Just fun.
You know what, Ty? We moved here 50 years ago. Sunrise hasn't changed hardly one iota.
No. That old garage was sitting there empty. No, that's across kitty corner from the bank. It just was empty.
Was the ball field there at that time? Or did that come later?
And I don't
That
know.
was later.
I think that's
Maybe
later,
not.
'cause that's like a very
Yeah, the ball field wasn't there at first. No.
Okay.
Okay.
See, someone stole mine. I haven't thought of another one yet, so come back to me.
All right, Ella, you go ahead.
What was your favorite food when you were growing up?
Well, I'm afraid I was a very picky eater. My mother used to say she'd rather feed an army than us kids. Because we were all fussy. I like a raw food. Like raw carrots and raw celery and raw beets and everything raw. I didn't like anything cooked.
except for your meat. You like your meat cooked, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Never ate much sushi or anything like that?
No. And my dad and my uncle that lived with us, when they wanted meat, they wanted it cooked so that you could take a knife and hit it with the hammer. They didn't like.
They wanted it really dead.
Well done.
Yep.
Didn't have nice like grills, you know, and grilled meat. No, none of that.
Okay, Yessie, what's your question?
What's your favorite thing to color?
Not that book. I never want to see a coloring book again.
Yeah, but what did you do when you came up to my house?
Well, I was bored. When you were out kayaking.
Well, Mom, tell Yessie what kind of a kid's toy you used to make when you were working at a factory.
Oh dear. I used to work at a jigsaw. And I would get puzzles. They would pile several puzzles, 3 puzzles maybe. And then I had a blade that kind of came down, and then I had to get the blade into that hole, and then I would cut out these designs on the puzzles. They were, you know, like dogs or houses or anything that you could get several pieces out of it so that kids could, they were big puzzles, big wooden puzzles.
All right, Will, did you think of a question?
Yes. Did you like any sports when you were growing up?
No, because I was sick when I was 11, and after that I wasn't allowed to do any sports. If I did anything, then kids would go and tell my mother that I ran, or sometimes I would hit the ball and somebody else would run for me.
Well, they still do that.
I was going to say, you know, when you were young and you were sick, you could do that. Now, Bruce decided, you know, at 52, he thought it would be a good idea to start playing softball again with Carrie and his buddies. So he's playing softball this year. And because he's over 40, he can have a runner for him.
Hey, Cor.
That's what I did. Yeah.
You got to come in and join the group for a minute.
I will. Where am I missing glasses?
On the other side.
Yep.
I have a question, Graham.
Okay, Bernie has a question for you.
Tell us about this Frank Sinatra story.
Wait, now, kids, do you kids know who Frank Sinatra is?
No.
He's a singer.
All right, but now, who's the new guy that's kind of like Frank Sinatra?
Michael Bublé.
All right, you know him?
It's not new.
No?
No.
Oh, goodness. Well, they kind of called Frank Sinatra a crooner, didn't they, Mom?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So he was just a famous, very famous singer when Grandma was little.
Music he sang.
Yeah.
Okay, so they want to know the story, Mom.
Well, my friend Shirley and I decided he had a show on stage over in Minneapolis, and we were going to go.
Concert.
We got permission. This was in high school, and so we went over to Minneapolis. I think I was even driving the car then. But anyway, we went to the show and watched Frank Sinatra. And of course we were thrilled to death. So we thought, go back by the stage door when he gets done and talk to him, you know. So we went back to the stage door finally. The show was all over and he came out. And we started asking him questions and talking to him. And he says, oh, I gotta go back to the hotel. And he says, come on with me. So there was, you know, about 6 kids or 7 kids, like 8 kids maybe, you know. And this friend of mine, Shirley, and I, we all went over to his hotel room. And he sat on the bed and talked to us. And that was a big thrill. Because he was
a big deal.
he was traveling and going around the country giving concerts, you know.
Who would they? Who?
So it'd be like if Taylor Swift invited you back to her hotel room to chit chat.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Well, I mean, he was that famous, is what I'm trying to say.
But you know, now I wonder, didn't my parents complain that I came home kind of late?
And
Because another friend of mine, Effie, and I went to see Gone with the Wind, which is, what?
3 hours long.
Yeah, we stayed for 2 shows, and our parents had police out looking for us.
Oh,
They liked the movie so good they stayed to see it the second time.
Yeah. So the second time.
Where did you go watch Frank at? Where? What?
Hmm?
What building was it that the Frank concert was at?
Was it like
Oh,
the
it was at
Orpheum or?
the theater in Minneapolis. Don't ask me which one. I couldn't tell
It's
you.
one of the theaters downtown there.
You know, I tried to look it up one
Big-
time.
Big show.
You know, like when did Frank Sinatra sing in
Right.
Twin Cities? But I couldn't get anywhere.
Really?
So
Ella, this is Corey. Do you know all the kids? You got them all hooked?
Okay. We made a list today at noon of all your family. Well, I shouldn't say, yeah, all your family. So Siobhan's family's not included in there because she's from Dad's side. But all your family and your prospective, you know, people like at the side of some people's hips, like Tori and Kellen and all them. And do you know that you are now up to, what do we say,
63.
Yeah,
Including the two unborn babies.
yeah.
What was it, 64 with her?
Yes, 64, counting you, in your family.
Oh.
64!
And 2 on the way.
Well, that's
That's
counting the
including
2
them.
on the way.
2 on the way. My goodness.
Oh, good.
Graham, could you tell all of us how you met Grandpa?
Oh, we want to hear that again.
They've never heard it.
Oh, no. Well, it was a rainy night in Toronto, Canada, and my cousin that I just loved, Gladys, she's quite a bit older than I. No, she was the same age as my sister, 8 years older, and she and her boyfriend wanted to go dancing, and they wanted me to come along. I said, okay, and it was during the war, and I said, I'll find a real cute sailor boy at the dance and dance with him. So we got to the dance floor, and you walked in the door, and here was all these stag men, all clinging to the door looking for
Girls.
girls, yeah, that came in that didn't have a boyfriend with them, you know. So they quickly ushered me to a table. So I danced with Gladys's boyfriend, and then she danced with him, and then I danced with him, and finally they said, let's take a walk around, because the outside of this building was on Lake Ontario. There's a big, what do you call it, porch. And let's go walk out there. So I thought, oh, good, I could see the lake, you know, right, because it was almost up to the building. And so I took a walk. They went, and I was walking behind them, and we got in there, and then they walked around the dance floor, and then they got to the door, and they ditched me. And there I was standing here, and all these stag men were standing there. And somebody tapped me on the shoulder, and they said, do you want to dance? And I looked at them, and I was so scared. And I said, I guess so. So I danced the night away with Roger.
And what did your cousin tell you?
Well, the boyfriend had to go home because he worked for the electric company, because there was a storm outside. And so they had to leave. And so my cousin said, now I'm trusting you to take her home. And, you know, if you don't, I'm going to shoot you. So we danced a lot until they closed the place down. And inside of this building, they had a great big, huge, round globe, the kind that has all the little teeny lights on it, so it was really fun to dance there.
Was it lights or mirrors on it?
Disco ball.
Yeah, mirror.
Yeah.
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 And so Roger did, he brought me home. And then I think the next day he came to visit me, and 5 years later I married him.
How about that? And Grandma and Grandpa were kind of pen pals for a long time because he was in Canada and she was in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it cost wasn't it 2 cents to mail a letter back then?
Oh,
in
There's a
the
whole bag of letters there.
in the late 40s at the end of the war.
We used to
Right
write
after.
to each other almost every day.
Who can guess what year Grandpa and Grandma got married?
1974. 1942.
Wrong, but you're a lot closer than he was.
1940.
1919. 47.
Okay, Grandma was born in 1927.
Oh, 1945.
47.
1947.
1945. 1951.
No.
1950.
1953.
52, I was born, so she was already married in 52.
Okay,
1979.
Ah, you got it.
Oh, 49.
1949.
Dude, your mom was born right around
Yep.
79.
Oh. I don't know, there's so many fun ones. And we went hauling something down to Florida
Texas.
when Tia was here. And going to San Antonio with Brenda and Shannon. That was fun.
And tell them about when you were a girl and you and Grandma took your trip.
Oh, yeah. That was the year I graduated from high school, and my dad had sent my sister out to California when she graduated, so I had to go too when I graduated from high school, but I didn't want to go alone, so I made my mother go with me, and we had a train ride all along the northern route of the United States. And then down to California, and then the southern route back. And it was a wonderful trip. Wonderful trip.
How about the time we went on the Alpine slide in the Collingwood Mountains?
That wasn't fun. That was Uncle Mike that made me do that.
She was petrified. She was on one of those little carts in the track going
And I
down.
had the brakes on all the way down, and the people behind me were just having a fit.
Okay, now can you guys think you all went on the Alpine slide? Can you imagine Grandma on the Alpine slide?
She kept saying, when we got up to the top, she kept saying, "Can't I just ride that chairlift back down?"
I want to go back down, and they said, "No, you can't. You gotta get in."
Poor Grandma.
Guess what I did all the way down?
Screamed.
Giggle. I just could not stop laughing all the way down. I was in the track right next to her, and she's like,
Oh, gosh.
Yep, Mom, these guys went on the Alpine slide on Tuesday.
Oh,
They
had
went
one-
out to the Wild Mountain and played in all the water things, and they have an Alpine slide there too.
Oh.
"Did you and Emily do that?"
We did it
Yeah.
Friday, I think.